Hello and welcome back. In our previous video, we had done a number of log calculations for properties such as porosity, saturation, and our net pay and net reservoir flags. What I would like to do in this video is I would like to demonstrate how we can map these up. Now, once again, I'm going to do this specifically for the geoscience user that does not have access to some of the other license types, like a petrophysics license, which would allow you to take a slightly different approach. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to define the zones over which we want to do our gridding. You'll remember in the earlier videos, we had subdivided the Parkman and the lower Parkman here. Um, we had also added this L200 top, which is probably not a top that we want to use across the area. So I want to leave those out. And the way I'm going to do that is I am going to use zones. So I'm going to come down here and say edit zones. And it asks me if I want to create a new .zones project. And I'm going to create that. I'm going to say initialize from tops. I'm going to choose my tops and hit OK. And I'm going to get rid of the zones by clicking on the trash can here for the L200 and the lower Parkman. I'm going to leave the rest of these as are. I do need to make sure that these are in the correct stratigraphic order, but from a quick glance here, I can see that that is indeed the case. And then I'm going to save this. Right, once I've done that, now I am going to create my zones and map those up. So this is going to be done with a flow. So File, New Flow, and we'll call this net pay and res maps.flow. Okay, so the first thing we'll want to do is we'll want to bring in our well logs. So we're going to grab that log calcs LDB that we previously made. Next thing that we need to do, because this is log data and we want to turn this into maps, is we're going to choose log zone summaries. And here we are going to choose which curves that we want to make. So in our here, when we go back to that flow, we can see that we made net underscore res and net underscore pay. So we're going to put that in net underscore res, create, and net underscore pay. So we've added those two curves. We're going to add our tops. We're going to add our headers. And what we want to do here is we want to, what we want to do is we want to integrate this. And the reason we're integrating it is we want to consider the depth step because not all of these may have the same depth step. So we're going to integrate. And we're going to use our zones file that we just made. And then we are going to use points to grid. Now points to grid, it's going to group these by property, but we're going to customize that. We want to group by property and by zone. We're going to grid this in lat long because that's what our headers are in. And the value column is, called value here. And we're going to have it do this with kriging. And then we are going to add a grid output. And we're going to make our net pay and net res maps. I'm just going to update the name there to be net pay and underscore net res. And I'm going to hit the run button here. And this will run. It should just take a couple of seconds here. Once again, pretty lightweight set of calculations. All right, and now that I've done that for my net res and my net pay, I also want to make maps for let's say my average water saturation and my average porosity. So to do that, I'm going to save some time. I'm going to right click and I'm going to make a copy of this flow, and I'm going to call this average props.flow. Going to hit OK. Now, the changes I need to make here are, first of all, my log zone summaries. I need to add the curve names here for V shell, Phi T, and SW. So it's going to be V shell, Phi T, and SW. And instead of integrating them, I'm going to average them. We're going to leave points to grid just the same. And for grid output, we're going to give this a new name. We're going to call it average props. And we are going to run that. And this will now give us our average porosity, water saturation, and shell volume. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll come back over here to our map because we want to display these. And I'm going to hide away my structure and isopac layers for the moment. And I'm going to add a new property. And I'm going to add my net res here. And I want to add the, let's say the net pay for my, let's say we're going to add that for the Niobrara formation. And I'm going to give that a little bit brighter of a color template there. And now what we can see is it is giving us our net pay for the Niobrara. And let's say I wanted to add another property here. Let's say I wanted to look at our water saturation. So here I go to the average properties. Let's say I want to look at the saturation. Oops, sorry, I accidentally clicked out of the box there. Average properties for our water saturation for the Niobrara zone. Once again, we'll give that a fun color template. Hit add. I'm going to turn off our net pay grid here. And sure enough, here we can see our water saturation. And the reason this is not calculating out as pay over here is because it's showing that it has quite a high water saturation relative to what we see where it was mapping out as net pay. So, once again, this is where we had the net pay. And the reason we have the net pay there is because that's where it is low water saturation as opposed to very high water saturation. All right, so that is how we can take those log calculations and use those to make property maps such as our net pay and our average water saturation. And if you have any questions or need any help with this, please contact us at support@danomics.com. Thank you.